Time for us to get in our fitness for the day. And of course, when you see Ryle, you know that we're in for a 100% stretch in terms of what our bodies are able to achieve. Now, the sun is shining. Yes, it is a beautiful day. All we want to do is to get outdoors for some much needed exercise and get into 100% shape for summer. Now, last week, Ryle motivated you at home for a dip in the ocean. But today, he's going to be tackling a very important aspect of exercise, and it's breathing. Breathing, yes. He's going to be teaching us how to breathe properly and in a 100% sort of the right way, right?
Yes, 100%.
The first question I guess I have to ask, Ryle, is what is the 100% right way to breathe during exercise?
I know, it sounds so silly. We breathe every day.
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to be taught?
Okay, I'm
alive
because I'm sucking my stomach. Generally, I'm breathing most of the time.
Exactly that. But the problem is, Tubbs, that we've actually been practicing the incorrect way to breathe for so often. And the older we get, it almost gets a lot worse. So a question to everybody out there, if you're sitting at your desk, as an example, how often do you find at the end of the day, you suddenly start sitting like this?
Yeah.
You're crouching over and you're like resting on your stomach as you're typing, or you're in the phone and you're arched over. So what this does is, although we are sitting, although we are still breathing, this is a form of shallow breathing.
Okay.
So we're not actually filling up the entire capacity of our lungs. So essentially we are reducing and killing our efficiency throughout the day.
But then we're making our lungs work really hard for no reason.
Number one, and number two, you're working harder than you need to in order to stay alive. So what we're going to do today is actually just take everybody through the 100% correct way to breathe. All right?
Cool.
So it starts off with something simple. So I'm going to stand up for this one. Just so that we can you also stand up with me? Let's just get some space. Let's find some freedom here. And one thing we want to remember is, of course, we want to get away from that shallow breathing.
Yes.
So what this means is, and I want you to actually put your hands just below your rib cage or just at the end of the rib cage. So you still feel some ribs there. You've got your stomach, rib cage, and your pecs, or your chest. So having your hands just about here, what we're going to focus on now is called deep belly breathing. And what this means is we're actually using the diaphragm to help us breathe. So as you breathe in, Tubbs, you almost want to feel your ribs expand and your belly almost push out. So instead of 100% what you think breathing is, sucking your stomach in and breathing through the chest.
Yes, which is what I was actually doing now.
Exactly,
So
and that's actually not...
pop out. I was like, mine's not doing that.
Weird, and counting to the right, 100%, exactly that, and everybody thinks the same thing. So deep belly breathing means we're actually using the diaphragm. The diaphragm's opening up, allowing the lungs to open up, and what that means is that the stomach region actually starts to spread. So that's belly breathing, and that's going to allow us to get a full amount of oxygen in. All right,
I love that.
So that's step number one.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, that's a bit better. I like that. All right, so stomach out. And you'll see my stomach go in as I push out.
We can't really see yours do anything because is there even a stomach?
But now this is something I want to lead on from, and it's something so important and for everybody to focus on when it comes to exercise as well. Me as an athlete, I've used this as one of my absolute secrets. It's given me about a 15% chance of increasing my efficiency and my power output. So one thing to notice when we're exercising, when we are pushing or exerting, we want to actually press out or blow out our oxygen or our air. So here's an example. Let's pretend I've got this KRUSH bottle, 100% KRUSH bottle in my hand here, and I'm doing a bicep curl. The force of the movement is the contraction, all right? So that's the squeezing of this muscle, right? So what I do is I breathe in on relaxation, so breathe in, and now when the power comes, I breathe out and squeeze. That's going to give you a 15% increase in your power output. So as a sprinter, as a runner, as a performance athlete, this is where you're really going to benefit from exerting. And when you exert, you blow out. So it's that...
That's when you release. You want to make sure that you do that. A lot of people, and I find 100%. I'm guilty of this myself. Every time I've gone for a run, and I mean I run a lot, as you know, is that I find myself holding my breath.
Yes.
It's such a natural thing, it's such a natural mistake to make. So you're running and go... I find myself doing so much of that.
100% think that is such a brilliant question, Tubbs. And what that is doing is it's actually creating a breath that's not rhythmic. And rhythmic breath is so important because, number one, it gives you the benefit of calming you, it relaxes you, and number two, when you actually are running, and that's a brilliant point which I wanted to talk about, you almost want to get into a good stride when you run. So off every step, 3 steps, I breathe in. 1, 2,
find a rhythm.
3, and then 2 steps, I breathe out.
And the nice thing, it sounds like you can even practice this at home.
Yes,
at the office
you should
even.
Be
so if you're walking
100%.
up the stairs, for example, practice that. With every step, take a deep breath in and make sure you release all the way out.
Yes.
These are simple principles of breathing that we can practice every day. But it's so interesting to note that we actually are also guilty of just holding our breath or not breathing properly, and the effects of that aren't good.
It's not. We're limiting ourselves, we're limiting our potential, and we're just reducing all the capacity that we can have throughout the entire day, Tubbs. Yeah.
100%. Okay, so folks, there you have it. Whether you enjoy walking, running, swimming, cycling, or resistance training, proper breathing is important to exercise 100% comfortably and, of course, effectively as well. And don't forget to quench your thirst afterwards with 100% goodness with KRUSH.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's good.
Get your 100% fresh, tasty, fruity, and refreshing goodness with KRUSH.
Made with love by Clover.